Hi there and welcome to this video. In this video, you're going to see how to set up Openclaw on a VPS. To be specific, this video is intended for anybody that wants to set up Openclaw on Kamatera VPS. If you want to use Kamatera to run your Openclaw, this video is going to show you how to go about it step by step. So what you need, number one, you need a Kamatera account. You can get 30 days of free trial of Kamatera, and you'll also need an API key for any AI model that you'd prefer to use. In this example, I'm going to use Deepseek. But that is just for demonstration. You can use whichever one you prefer. Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini, or even OpenRouter. If you have connected various models with OpenRouter, you can use that as well, among others. So let's get started. If you don't have an account, just click there on Get Started, and you can get 30 days of free trial of Kamatera. All right, so go ahead, create your account, add a credit card, and then log into your account, and let's continue from there. We can start setting up Openclaw on Kamatera. So the first thing, come here under my cloud. You can go to servers. If you don't have a server yet, I don't have a server, I can create a new server. And Kamatera has multiple data centers. You can choose the location that is closest to you. In this case, I'm just going to go with any location in Europe. I can go with Frankfurt, Germany. For the server OS, we are going to use apps, images, and I'm just going to use the Openclaw ready to install template that Kamatera has set up. I can scroll down looking for it, and there it is. Just look for the Openclaw logo, click on Openclaw, and then just scroll up a bit to choose a version. Currently there is only Ubuntu 24.4, and scroll down again. You can choose the server type. So these three come with dedicated CPU resources, dedicated virtual CPUs, but I'm just going to go with availability, and this one comes with a shared CPU. So I'll select availability. For Openclaw, the minimum usually depends on what you want to do with it. If you don't want to do anything major, just lightweight tasks, then you can go with one virtual CPU. But I'd recommend this based on past experience. Always just start with two virtual CPUs, so that your Openclaw is not sluggish. Go with two virtual CPUs at least. And then for the RAM, minimum you can go with is 2 GB, but of course I'd recommend 4 GB. Also, if you're going to run your own models within the same VPS, I'd suggest you at least go with 4 virtual CPUs. If you're going to install Ollama and get your own models running locally in the same VPS, you can do so. If you want to do something that doesn't require a lot of reasoning, a lot of processing, then that's something you can do. You can run your model locally. So for that, just start with 4 virtual CPU minimum. Look at the recommendations for the particular model that you want to run. So 4 virtual CPUs and at least 8 GB, depending on what the specs for that model are. For the storage, I'll just go with 50 GB. You never know, you might need to download things and you want enough space on your VPS. So I'll go with 50 GB minimum. And then again, if you're going to run your own models, make sure you know the size of the model so that you can select the most reasonable amount of storage. You can set up daily backup if you want to back it up. For networking, I don't need anything special. I'll just stick with public networking. So for this, so you can also add an SSH key here. If you click on show advanced configuration, you can set up an SSH key. You can add a public key there, and that will be used for setting up the server. In this case, I can just use a password, but I do recommend you go with the SSH key option. If you need a tutorial for that, just let me know. Password for the server. So this is a server password. And then the number of servers, if you only want one, leave it at 1. If you want more, you can always deploy multiple servers of Openclaw. I can call this Kamatera. There you go. Power on the server. Of course, I want it on. And then the billing cycle, you can get billed monthly, or your billing cycle can be hourly. In this case, I'll go with hourly because this is just a demonstration. If you power down your server, it will cost you $7.30. If the server is running 24 hours, it will be $19.71 per month. So I can just click there to create the server. And this usually takes a while, so just give it time. When we come back, we're going to see how to log in via SSH and then set up Openclaw, set up Openclaw UI as well. If you click there under task, if you click there under queue, you can click on it and you'll see the progress for your server. I'm just going to wait until it's done and then I'll come back and log into the server. So I'll pause for now. Okay, so that took roughly 8 minutes. The full installation roughly took 7 minutes. So we can continue and log in. Close. So to log in, you just need to get your IP. So I can get my IP. I click on the name there. There is my public IP. I'm just going to copy and then we can log in. So if you're on Windows, download and use Git Bash. I usually prefer Git Bash over the Windows terminal. So download Git, install it, open Git Bash. If you're on a Mac, Linux, just open terminal and follow along. So I'm going to open terminal. So I can log in with SSH. The user by default will be root, and then your IP. Control-Shift-V to paste on terminal. Shift-Insert to paste on Git Bash. Enter, and then I'm going to type yes to confirm that this is the right fingerprint. And I'm going to copy the password from there. This is the password I set while deploying the server. Control-Shift-V to paste. Enter. There you go. Now you're logged into your Ubuntu server, the Ubuntu with your Openclaw. So the instructions are here. What you can do to get your UI working. So if you want to access the dashboard, you can just copy, you can just click that and then give it permission to access your Openclaw gateway. Just copy the entire thing up to the end, and I can copy Control-Shift-C. So when you're using Git Bash or using terminal, it's quite easy to copy. You can just do Control-Shift-C or Control-Insert on Git Bash and save that. Save it. You might need it in future. This is just for reference purposes, right? So the control UI, that's the link. You're going to need your token to access the Openclaw dashboard UI. And your local gateway endpoint is that. So you're probably wondering how Kamatera is giving you access to this. There are different ways of accessing your Openclaw dashboard. In this case, they're using Nginx reverse proxy to proxy into the local gateway. And later on, I can look at the configuration files if I will get time. If not, that's for another video. So for now, what I need to do is just access the dashboard and then allow the dashboard and then allow the device accessing the dashboard. Let's come back here and I can just do control click to open this link. So I don't know whether this is because of my firewall or because of the firewall on the server. Just give me a moment to confirm that. On my end, on my browser, it's allowed. So I can just change my network. All right, so that was an issue on my end, on the client and on my end, on my browser side. For you, you're probably not going to face that issue. So here you go. You can see that you can access your Openclaw dashboard. So I'm just going to click on connect once. Just click once, okay? Click on connect once. It's going to fail, and that's what we want. We want it to fail so that we can allow it on our end on Openclaw. So Control L, clear the screen there, and I want to allow that device. So all the instructions are here, but Openclaw is quite easy to get a grasp of, especially the CLI, because everything is well defined. So Openclaw approve, Openclaw list devices, the CLI is pretty well defined. Okay, so if you don't want to type, you can Google the correct thing, or you can find it here. Is it here? Let's see. So let's see, Openclaw pairing list. Let's just copy that, Control-Shift-V. No pending main pairing lists. Let's do Openclaw devices list. It's telling me clearly there's one pending device with the Openclaw CLI. So in this case, what I can do is I can approve this. So I'll just copy the device ID and then I will allow it. So let me do Control L to clear the screen, and I will bring up Openclaw devices, and to approve you just do Openclaw devices approve, and then you paste in the ID I've just copied from there. And you can see now it's been approved. And if I come back here and I try to connect, I should be able to log in to my dashboard. That is, if you want to use the dashboard. So right now we have not even added a model to use. So go to wherever your API key is, and we're going to configure Openclaw with an AI model that you can use for it to work. Okay, so you need to plug in a model such as OpenAI, such as Anthropic models, just for you to use it. Otherwise, that's the brain. Without that, it doesn't have a brain. Let's configure Openclaw, and it's quite easy to configure. Every time you want to configure Openclaw, just do Openclaw configure, Openclaw config, and here just select local. That is for this machine. This is where the gateway is running. So you can configure whatever you like. Let's say you haven't configured the AI model. You can scroll down there, model. You can configure a model. Maybe you have not configured the chatting app that you want to use with your Openclaw. Perhaps you want to use WhatsApp. You want to use Telegram, Signal, whatever you want to use. You can come here under channel and configure those. Right? So you can skip to whatever you need to configure even after you've already configured Openclaw. So this is important to know. Openclaw config. You can come back later and reconfigure anything, add any configurations, add any new models that you want to configure. In this case, I want to configure the model. And if you're following along from the introduction of the video, I said I was going to use Deepseek. Okay, Deepseek is supported by default on Openclaw. So I'll just click on more, and I want to go all the way to Deepseek. So these are all the supported options. You can choose whichever one you already have. Deepseek. So let's go to Deepseek. And Deepseek is quite easy to set up, quite affordable as well. So that's why I'm using it. The first thing you need to do, if you don't have a Deepseek account, just go to platform.deepseek.com, create your account using your Google account, and then click there on top up. And then you can top up using PayPal or whatever payment method you already have. So these are the ones that are available: PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, either of those. Once you've topped up, you first of all need to top up for you to generate a working API key. So I'll go back to API keys, and I can just create a new API key. I can call it Kamaterav, create the API key, copy the API key because it won't be shown again. So just copy it and bring it back here. Here again, I can download the Deepseek plugin. I need that. So I'll enter and let it download that. And then I need to enter the Deepseek API key. So right now I can enter the Deepseek API key. You can just paste in your key there. So in this case, let's see the model that you want to use. You can use the Flash model, which is much cheaper. The latest version is version 4. So you can use the Flash or the Pro model. Both of them are very powerful. Pro is more expensive and slightly more powerful, but Flash is the one you should go with if you're going to run it consistently. I'll select Flash. If you want to go with Pro, go with Pro, whichever model you're working with. Deepseek is configured. Now we are ready. You can connect a channel. If you want to add another model, you can do so. Just click there on model to add another workspace as well. Let me click on workspace. Do I already have a workspace? Okay, I already have a workspace, but let me just go with that, the default one there. But you can always put your workspace somewhere else. In this case, I can see Openclaw is running as root, which is not recommended. So if you wanted, you can install Openclaw manually. So what else do we need to add here? How about channels? Let's see. As for channels, you can add your channels like WhatsApp, Telegram. So right now I don't have any channels, but these are all the ones you can add. Most of these things are pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go through everything. So let's assume the only thing I'm going to do for you here is Signal, because I know most people don't use that. Most people use WhatsApp or Telegram, but for Signal, I'm just going to show you what to do if you want to connect Signal to your Kamatera Openclaw or whichever Openclaw on any VPS or on any desktop computer. So in this case, I'm just going to end it here. I can do Control-C to end the configuration. At this point, we have a model. We can chat with it. I can say, hello. Let's see if it's up. Hey, I've just come. So this is because you already have a model connected. You can chat with it, ask it questions. You can create skills. If you want to train this Openclaw to work for you in your business, you're going to need to learn about skills, how you can fine tune it specifically to your business. So when people ask questions of your business, or when you set up marketing related things for your business, they're specifically going to be derived out of your business and brand. So that's something you can do. Just figure out how to set that up. Who am I? Who are you? Okay. You can just give it a name. Say you are now Kamatera, and I am doer 1. Right. So that's the first thing. You've set up your model. You've seen how to set up Openclaw. So let's assume you wanted to set up WhatsApp. I'm not going to do it, but you'll just do Openclaw config and then run it. I believe it's better for you to learn to do these things yourself. It makes it much easier for you to learn, and you learn faster. So I'll just go with local machine again, and then model. Say you want to set up WhatsApp. You'll just click their channel, add or delete, and then scroll all the way down till you find WhatsApp, and you can set up WhatsApp. If it doesn't have anything specific, you can download from ClawHub or you can download from NPM either. I'm just going to do Control-C to get out of that. One that I want to try, and I know you're probably going to fail, let's just try it, is setting up Signal as a channel, add or update channels, and let's go to Signal. Yeah, Signal, there you go. So assuming you wanted to set up Signal, you just follow it along the same way you usually do for WhatsApp, and it might fail. So let's see. If it fails, I'm going to show you what to do. So Signal CLI not found, install, yes. So it's going to download the CLI. So if it fails like this and you're hell-bent on using Signal, let me show you what you can do. You can just install Signal CLI and then continue with the process again. Search for Signal CLI. Signal CLI. Signal, there you go. Signal CLI. And then scroll down to the installation part. If you want to install it server-wide for Linux, you can use that or that, but I prefer this. So for this, you're going to need JRE, Java Runtime Environment, for both of them actually. Java Runtime Environment, specifically version 25 and above. This is Linux. I don't know which version of GRE is there. It's not usually installed by default, but we can install it. So if you want to work with Signal, the first thing install GRE, Java Runtime Environment. So I can search for whichever version is there. Apt search. So I'm just going to search for JDK. I'm going to search for OpenJDK, and I want to make sure that it doesn't give me a lot of useless results. So I'm just going to grep with 25. At least I can install version 25. So I can install version 25. So there we go. We have OpenJDK 25, all that. But the one I need is GRE, right? So I'm just going to copy this, the name there, and then I install that. And now we have GRE. And now we'll have the Java Runtime Environment installed and ready for Signal CLI. So I'm going to do apt install, Control-Shift-C to copy, Control-Shift-V to paste. That is, if you're on terminal, if you're on Git Bash, it's Control-Insert and Shift-Insert. Enter, enter, enter. Let it install. And then I'm going to copy this. This is just to install the Signal CLI. Control-L, clear the screen. Control-Shift-V to paste. Enter. So it's going to download and then install it. So now if I was to run Openclaw config again, I should get it working. So local, there you go. We are going to configure channels, add or remove. Let's go down to Signal, enter. Okay, so this time round you can see Signal CLI has been detected. Do you need to reinstall it? Don't, because it will fail. So just click no. Signal bot number. So this is a number for your Signal. You can use a number. Let me just use a sample number here because I want to see up to where it will go. So I believe it should have all the codes. So 731246. Let me just test that number. So you're going to see this when you set it up for the first time, right? This is a place where I added my number and then the Signal. Next step, copy that, and I can put that in there. And then I will come back, Control-C to get out of any configuration that I'm currently doing. And I'm just going to run Signal CLI link. This is to link this to your phone. Copy, Control-Shift-V, enter. It should generate this code, and go to your Signal link, new device. And this is because you need to do the same thing we did the very first time we were opening the dashboard. So you just need to allow that device into the Openclaw gateway. So Openclaw devices list. So if you wanted to connect WhatsApp, you can do so, or whichever other channels you want to connect, you can connect it there. Just come here under channels and connect whichever ones you want to connect. But if you wanted to work with Signal, just follow the steps like I've shown you, and you should be able to get it working. And if you face any issues, you can just ask Openclaw for guidance. So I'm just going to cancel that, but you can add whichever channels you want. So in this video, the objective was to have Openclaw running on Kamatera. You now have it running. If you need to configure anything, you can just do Openclaw configure and just click on local. Maybe you want to add another model, enter. You can choose whichever other model you want to run. That's basically how to set up Openclaw on Kamatera. Now you have everything you need. You can use the CLI. If you know how to use the dashboard, you can use the dashboard. if you want to add more, if you want to set up workflows and have Openclaw do things for you, just learn how to do it. You can use the documentation. There are lots of videos on YouTube as well, just to show you how to set it up. The configuration for Openclaw is here, so we can just look at it. Cut before I end the video. Let's just look at the configuration for Openclaw. Root. So the path is that. The configuration is here. If you need to add anything manually, you can do so here. You can see the bind mode is loopback. So the only way to access it is through the Nginx proxy that has been set up. And if you wanted to use a domain name, you can do so. Just come here, or if you need a video for that, just let me know and I can show you how you can add your own domain name instead of using this domain from Kamatera. So that pretty much ends the video. If you have any questions, let me know. If you need Linux server support, you can always go to bizanosa.com. So that's it for this one. Until next time. Before I end, let me just show you that I'm actually going to delete all these items. First things first, let me delete the server. So I'll come to Kamatera. Here under actions, the first thing, power off the server. Confirm power off. So now that it's powered off, I can terminate the server. Terminate. Copy the name, put it there, paste, terminate server. And then let me go to Deepseek. I will delete that. This one as well. I will delete. Right. So that's it. Until next time.